Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we'll be benchmarking Starfield on the RX 5700 XT. Now, without any further ado, let's get into the settings. So, I am on the MSI RX 5700 XT, a MECH OC edition, and I'm running Ryzen 7 1700 at 3.2 GHz, as you can see on the top right, for all the specs. And this is the settings. It is a custom high preset setting. So with the high preset, the dynamic resolution was turned on and render resolution scale was set to 67%. I didn't like that, so I just turned it off. And then everything is on high. Crowd density, I put them on medium, and then motion blur, put it to low. And as usual, I did turn on anisotropic filtering to 16x, and I did turn off FSR 3. And yeah, with this settings on New Atlantis, you can expect around 30 to 40 with a little bit of CPU bottlenecks. I'm also running this on like a 12-year-old hard disk, a laptop hard disk, at 5400 RPM. When reaching new locations, I get stutter a bit, like for like a second or two, or even like longer. We're dropping to the 20 FPS because I think the CPU has to render all the information from the graphics card, and as you can see on the top right, we are getting bottlenecks when the game loads new areas. But this performance is, I think it's only happening in New Atlantis, so if you like go to another planet, you won't be experiencing this. It's gonna be much better. So you can see 30 FPS. CPU utilization is quite high also, around 75%, 77, reaches 80% also. Yeah, like if I were to look like around this area, not getting any like CPU bottlenecks that much, so the GPU utilization is around 90%, right? As you can see. Oh yeah, also I did undervolt the card and underclocked it, so I did set the clocks to 1800 megahertz and then the voltage to 950. As you can see, just loaded in some NPCs. The CPU had to struggle. If you really want to get the stress out of the CPU, you can turn crowd density to low, since the crowd does not do anything anyway. They're just there, you know. Temperature wise, well, on lower FPS temperature is quite low, but if you like have 60 plus FPS, then
I'm so excited to see Tony.
you might see a higher temperature on the card. Okay, so this is like custom high preset. Now we can try to use the high preset like this. Let's just leave it as is. So you can see, we're just really limited by the CPU for now. Like, we're not really seeing a better FPS. The game looks more blurry, which I don't really like. And overall, we are getting about like the same experience. Maybe because we set the crowd density too high, so we get like a tad bit lower FPS. But yeah, this is pretty much CPU bound. This game is very CPU intensive, so okay. Let's change the settings again. Let's try medium preset. So we're on 50%, and then turn upscaling FSR 3, same thing here, everything else on medium. Still get the same FPS, basically. Also, I use a mod for this so the HDD can run better with this game. I forgot what's the mod called. It's like shader cache enabler or something like that. Or is it? I don't know, I forgot. So basically, it enables the game to store its information on the memory for a little longer, so it doesn't put much work on the hard disk. And it makes like loading times much faster for the hard disk. It looks terrible, you know. Let's do something. Let's turn this off. Let's also turn that off. Yeah, I mean, I guess no matter what settings you're gonna put, it's just gonna be stuck at 30 FPS because of the CPU. As you can see, although you can like help it with frame generation if you don't want to play like that, but frame generation creates a lot of artifacts in this game. And does it feel any better? I'm not sure. So let's put this back on high settings and then turn this off. And let's use frame generation and then put sharpening to 100. As you can see, you can play like this.
Wish that bartender at the viewport would stop complaining to security.
And get
I don't know what
60
she lost, but
FPS.
she won't get it back by
And
annoying
of
us.
course, you put more load on the CPU, so now we're getting about 80% on the CPU. And then the graphics card is utilizing 90% plus. And still drops to the 60s. Well, I don't actually understand why this game is so intensive and very like
Private sector.
hardware
Well, that's where the real
demanding.
money's
Well, the game looks good, but it doesn't look good as good. Even The Last of Us Part 1 runs better. You will get more realistic FPS if you go to another area, like mission area where you have gunfights. You're not gonna have as low as what I've shown in the video. But yeah, I'm showing you guys what other YouTubers mostly done, like benchmarking the game on New Atlantis. And yeah, with this CPU, unfortunately, it does bottlenecks about 20 to 40%, and then so we're only getting 30 FPS on like the raw performance. But if you turn frame generation on with FSR 3 set to quality, I think you can have, as you can see on the top right corner, 60 FPS experience. Although it doesn't like feel like a real 60, but it does feel much better if you're playing on keyboard and mouse. But if you play on controller, you won't even notice the difference, you know. So I'm just gonna switch to my controller real quick. Yeah, how much difference? So yeah, frame generation does help with the CPU bottleneck condition. It makes the CPU utilize more percentage and close the gaps on the bottleneck condition.
So, what's the point? This is some sort of art, is it?
I think that's it, guys.
You gotta let her go. We got the knowledge.
It's playable on this kind of setup. I just turned on frame generation, although it doesn't feel as good as the other game frame generation. Like, let's say God of War Ragnarok and Ghost of Tsushima, those are like some of the best implementation of MDFSR frame generation. It's still playable. Look at these people. Like, what are they doing? They're just standing still. Or you can also use the optimized digital foundry settings, but I also found that it's not really helpful with this situation.
Evening, sir.
Yeah, I will end the video here, guys. And
Not sure if those Varun zealots live in space.
am I liking the game so far? I don't know, it's a bit boring, to be honest. I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.